Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett, and in today's video, we are talking about some things interior designers always avoid. Now, before we get into it, be sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. The first thing we have to talk about that as an interior designer, I will always avoid is a shaggy rug in all of its forms. I do not like a shaggy rug because they don't wear well. I do not care what fantasy, what reality, what type of rug, what material, where it's made, how expensive it was. They do not wear well. Even wall-to-wall carpet that is like a frise and it's got that shaggy look to it, they don't wear well. They just don't. And that's because of the nature of life and the actual material itself. Now, what does that mean, life and the material? Well, the material is going to get crushed as you walk on it. It's going to get smushed down and you have to constantly be going over it. Like original shag used to be sold with a rake. You have to be constantly doing that to shag of any sort, because it's going to get smushed and then it's going to get compacted and matted and then it's going to look terrible and horrible. And by the nature of life, I mean, you know, you're walking on things, you're wearing on them, like, you know, they get a little dirty, they need to be cleaned, especially if you have dogs, for example. Shag has a lot of pile, which means a lot can get into it, a lot of dirt, a lot of debris, a lot of dog hair, and you're never gonna get all of it out. You are so much better off using a rug with a thinner pile or a wall-to-wall carpet with a thinner pile because they're just easier to clean, they look better longer, and it's just easier to maintain when you're living there. You don't have to think about them as much, and that is 100% of what I'm looking for my clients all of the time. I'm always thinking about, can they actually maintain this and take care of it? If I put something high maintenance there, are they gonna be able to live with it? Probably not. So spare yourself from the design mistake of a shag rug. As an interior designer, something else I am never going to specify to my clients are cool toned lights. Lighting makes a space, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be completely custom and expensive. Like, yeah, okay, like I do that with some of my clients, but the reality is it's all about the temperature of lighting, and cool toned lighting just does not look good in most spaces. It doesn't enhance colors because it makes them look more cool toned. Now, when it comes to lamps or an overhead light fixture like a chandelier of some sort, I'm going to go with a very warm tone light. 2700 is a temperature I'm looking for. When it comes to recessed lighting, these are actually like utilitarian lights. In a living room or an entertaining space, I'm going to look at 3000 because it's a little bit cooler, but it's more in the neutral realm. In a kitchen or bathroom, that's when I'm looking at 4000 because I need it to be a little bit brighter so we can see a little bit more, and having that higher level of mid-tone lighting where it's more neutral is going to be best. It's not just about the colors you're choosing and the materials and all of those things. Yeah, we're gonna do something great with them, but if you have cool tone lighting, they're not gonna look good anyway, so what does it matter? Speaking of your space and making it look gorgeous, I know that sometimes these decisions are a little bit difficult to make, but rest assured you have always got someone on your side. That would be me. You can always book a one-on-one interior design consultation with me using the link in the description box down below or going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. And if I can put a word in edgewise, I would love to meet with you before you make big commitments when it comes to a renovation or design project so we don't have to fix them later. Another thing you almost never see an interior designer specify is a freestanding bookcase. I don't specify these bookcases because once we get the weight of a lot of books and accessories on them, they don't tend to stay standing straight or looking that good. They tend to lean a little bit. They look a little crazy or wild. I would specify a built-in element instead. Now, built-ins are big commitments. If you're renting, you're not building something in there, okay? Like, let's be real. So instead of a bookcase, I'm going to look at an etagere, which is like an open style piece of furniture with shelves that, you know, you can put things on. It's like a bookcase, but not completely. Or I'm going to look for some sort of cabinet or something that has a more substantial base to it, like a secretary desk with a cabinet above it. You know, there's like more depth at the bottom, so it's more stable at top. So if I'm gonna look at doing bookcases in a space, I'm gonna say, let's build them in, like let's wrap the base, let's secure them to the wall properly. And you could do this with a DIY. As a matter of fact, I spoke all about that in a DIY video on the channel that you should check out, linked also up here. I'm gonna say let's look for something that has more depth to it so it's a little more stable in this space and you can put the things on it you need, you can take things off, like you can engage with the piece of furniture without worrying that it's going to literally fall over. So no freestanding bookcases, built-ins, or pieces with more depth are what I'm going to suggest for my clients. Another thing that I almost never tell my clients to do, and if they really want it, we can make it work, okay? I can make anything work, but I almost never recommend accent walls, because I just believe in a more all-encompassing space. I'm never going to say, paint that one wall this color, paint that one wall another. I'm gonna say, do those two walls in a color, do all of the walls in the same material. There's one space in every home that I'm always saying, do an accent here, do something interesting. That's your ceiling. Do something great on your ceiling. It is so unexpected to see a painted ceiling instead of a painted accent wall. I don't usually recommend accent walls, and if I'm going to, it's gonna be some sort of paneling detail or molding, something with wood and trim, a combination of elements, or I'm gonna suggest you do all of the walls in that. Go big or go home, give me everything. I'm gonna push boundaries when it comes to design and not do something that's simple and easy like painting a singular accent wall. So I say, if you love a color, paint everything that color. If you love it enough to have it in your home, let's make the space all-encompassing and overwhelm it with that color. That's more interesting to me than just an accent wall. Something else as an interior designer I never specify for clients because it's just hard to decorate with and work with is actually using more than 2 wood tones. 2 wood tones maximum, that's where I am at. That's my opinion when it comes to interior design, because it's just hard to work with and to find wood tones that all have the same base tone to them that work cohesively together. It's just too difficult. When I am using different wood tones together in a space, I'm trying to cultivate them in a way that makes sense. And typically what I'll do is I'll specify that all of the built-in features that are a wood tone will be the same. So like your wood floors, if you have wood cabinetry, if we have wood trim, I want it to kind of all be the same. That's just the easiest way to work with it. And then use a separate wood tone for furniture pieces. And that way, if you get tired of it, you want to change things out, we're not committed to, like ripping up all of the floors or painting all of the trim to get rid of a secondary wood tone. Now you can mix 2 different wood tones in a built-in way in your home. That's easy enough to do. We just need to find something that has the same base tone to it. Now let's apply that to the furniture in the house. We just need to make sure it's consistent enough that it matches here and there, that it flows throughout the space. And that's how you use 2 wood tones together. But adding in a 3rd to that mix is where things get really difficult. So that's what I want to avoid, because it's just hard. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't flow naturally in a home. Stick to 2 wood tones to make the design easier, more simplistic, and have better flow. Another thing I never specify as an interior designer are store-bought drapes. And that's not to say you can't use them. We just have to elevate them. And I don't typically recommend them because I genuinely believe that most of the time you have to get multiples of like pairs of them. And then, it's like they're not actually attached, they're not connected, so it looks a little sloppy. Like we could just go semi-custom or like a semi-prefabricated drape and have it hemmed to length and it looks way better. Obviously, I would recommend you check out my Amazon storefront for the best drapes available online, which you can check out linked below, but that is beside the point. Store-bought drapes, in my opinion, just don't always fit the brief, and you can make them work better for you by looking for some that have, a clean top on them. I don't want anything that's too fussy or too busy. They are a alternative solution to the window treatment problem, and they are more affordable. So like I said, get them extra long and then have them hemmed to length so they get a more customized look, but they still save you all of that money. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, you were obviously seeing some great value here. I love that for you and I love that for me, but what I would also love for the both of us is if you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and joined us, become a part of our GarrettLeChic family. We post regularly all about interior design. I'm looking to elevate your home and the homes of the rest of the world one at a time. So be sure you hit that subscribe button and join us and give this video a like, helping to share my video across the internet, because we all know there are plenty of people that need to see it. Something I never really specify as an interior designer for my clients is actually chairs with tall arms on them, especially when it comes to like a dining room. And I actually had a really big conversation with a client about this, and she was like really committed to these chairs, and I was like, let me ask you this question. Will they fit under your table? Will they fit under your table? These chairs right now are some of the biggest, most trending style of chairs out there, but they usually don't fit underneath a table, which is why I don't ever talk about them or show them or really recommend them to you, because I need for those chairs to slide under a dining table or like a bar stool, for example. see them all of the time there too. They have to be able to fit under. It's not that you have to push them fully under, it's that we need them to not stick out completely. Because if the chairs don't go under a table, we just added 2 feet to each side of that table. We just added so much width and depth there that it's like insane how big of a room you would need to not be able to push your dining chairs under the table. Just envision that. Think about it. The seat is fully extended completely 100% of the time. That also means that your guests, if you're sitting at that table, can't slide all the way in far enough. Like my knees are here and the edge of the table is where my knees are. Like it just is not comfortable. It's just not what I recommend. If you like these chairs, hey, go for them. Just make sure you get a table that is tall enough, that has a thin enough profile that they will actually slide underneath it. These are the fine details that interior designers are thinking about. And that's why I say to everybody, you know, book a little bit of time with an interior designer to talk about the decisions you're making when it comes to purchasing anything. Because buying, you know, 4 or 6 dining chairs for your table, that's not inexpensive. It is a big commitment. We have to make sure they are the right thing the first time. And then what are some alternatives if that's not going to work? What are the parameters I need to hit here when it comes to buying pieces for my home? So once again, yeah, book a consultation with me, but I almost never specify a dining chair with, you know, really tall arms or where it has like arms in the back that are level, because they tend to be really awkward to work with. And then you got a lot of density in the chair, and then you have to have a very thin table. Sometimes that balance just isn't there for me. So it's really something important to measure your pieces of furniture and whether they will even fit or work together in your home. Something else I never specify as an interior designer are generic coffee table books. There have been so many conversations on the internet about what coffee table books you should have or shouldn't have, what's basic, what's cool, what's in, what's not. All of it. I honestly, I don't really have big conversations with my clients about like, here are the things we have to have. Like you need to have this specific brand of book, because why would I, right? These are personal moments and elements. Like if I get to know somebody and I know what their hobbies are, their passions are, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm gonna be sourcing. I'm like, okay, well, I know they like this. Let's add a few elements or mementos of that. They've been to this place. Let's add a little bit of this in there. So those are the things that are interesting to me. What are your passions? What are your hobbies? I don't think that you should be looking online and saying like, this person just released a coffee table book. Gotta have it. Oh, look it, that's the biggest designer coffee table book right now. I need it. That's what your home needs to be. It needs to be you, your family, what matters to you and what's important, not just generic stuff that somebody recommended to you or said was going to change your life completely, because the hard truth is it's not going to. That's what we in the business call sales. Something we have a lot of conversations on, a lot of laughs online about, especially on this channel, are people that have too many throw pillows on their sofas or in their homes in general. And that is something I never recommend for clients. I don't really like to have a ton of throw pillows anywhere in my home because I'm not looking after them. I'm not taking care of them. My life does not revolve around pillows and fluffing them and taking care of them. No, pillows are there for comfort and they're there to tie in color schemes together. That's what my take on them is. So on my bed, I have one strategically placed lumbar pillow that is adding to the fantasy, and that's good enough for me. On my sofa here, I have 2 pillows and a naughty little cavalier who is enjoying said pillows. He absolutely loves them because they're fabulous in this space, but they really fit the color scheme of this room and tie in things. Some of the lighter blue in this pillow reference back to the color of my dining room, so it ties it into the other side of the room, which is really nice. Same thing goes for the darker blue. I have accent chairs in this room that are dark blue. The drapes in my dining room are dark blue, so they're referencing back on this side of the room where there isn't as much of that dark blue. We don't need to have a ton of pillows. I want to have, like on a sofa, if it has arms, 3 is where I want to be. Like, you know, a regular sofa, if it's a sectional that's a little bit bigger, we can do like 2 in each corner type of a thing, maybe 1 accent. That's okay, as long as it's not an overwhelming amount. As long as there are seats that are available that we can sit in, as I can see some of the corner of the sofa, I'm satisfied. Don't have too many pillows. It's weird, it makes people uncomfortable, and don't overfluff them either. You know, I once on the top chop, double side chop, so they look dense and full and fluffy, but they're not like overly styled or staged. They're just nice and fluffed. That's my take on it. Something else I never recommend for anybody, for clients, for anybody, I I would recommend for my enemies, but that's just who I am as a Scorpio. Neon colors. I don't use neon colors. I don't reference neon colors. I don't relate to neon colors. They just are difficult to work with. They don't usually ever look super sophisticated. They tend to look a little juvenile, and I think there is something different between a vibrant color, a color with life and passion that's fun, and neon. So we have to steer clear of neon, and we can embrace some great color. I do in my home. I usually am looking for more muted tones that are a little softer because they're easier to layer with and work with and enjoy. Plus, when you have a very specific, vibrant color, if you're looking to reference that, it's difficult not to go with a matchy-matchy kind of thing. Okay, and matchy-matchy isn't elevated. So if you have a slightly more muted version of that same color, it's easier to mix different tones of that same color together and have them look natural and have them make sense. Working with colors that are too vibrant or too shocking makes a space very difficult to decorate with, and you have to go very custom with a lot of things. That's why I personally just don't do it. I don't ever recommend it. That's why a lot of people feel comfortable working with neutrals, because they're easier to work with. Using color is exciting and it's fun, and you can absolutely do that, but you have to have a very sophisticated eye when it comes to color in order to achieve something that truly looks sophisticated, elegant, timeless, unique, and personal, and elevated, and not something juvenile. Now that we discussed some of the things I would not use as an interior designer, let's talk about some things in your home that are probably making it look cheap and we should let go of. Be sure you check out that video right over here, and I will see you over there. Thanks for spending some time with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.